Hello, what's up guys? Your guy Promzy once again. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm talking about my experience living in the eastern part of Germany for 2 years now. So if you're ready for this video, stay tuned. Welcome back guys once again. So like mentioned before, in today's video, I'm going to talk about my experience in the eastern part of Germany, and I hope I'll be able to answer some of the questions I get in my DM concerning moving to the eastern part of Germany. So if you don't know the history between the eastern part and the western part of Germany, I think you should just read something small about it. It's not anything. It's not rocket science. But if I'm supposed to relate it to Ghana, where I'm coming from, the eastern part of Germany would be like the northern Ghana, and the western part of Germany would be like the southern Ghana, where we have the capital, big cities all over in the south, and people come to Kumasi, Accra for, you know. When I moved to Germany, I was in the western part of Germany where I did my language course, and after the language course, I had to move to the eastern part because I had admission in TU Community. Moving from the west to the east wasn't a small decision for me because I had other options. And anytime I go on the internet to research about the city I was coming in, the only thing I saw on the internet was about racism and protests against immigrants, which I think happened around 2018 or 2019. So I understand why most people are concerned when it comes to moving to the eastern part of Germany. I myself had to reach out to the university to find out if there were other African students like from Ghana or Nigeria or, and apparently there were. So I don't know, I decided to come to community. They're just my personal experience. I have experience in the eastern part of Germany, and you should take it with a pinch of salt. Is it grain of salt? But you know what I mean. At the end of the day, you should make your own decision whether to move to wherever city you want to. The first thing I'm going to talk about is racism. I did a video like 2 years ago when I was in the western part of Germany, and I don't think the points in those videos differ that much when I compare it to what I've experienced here in the eastern part of Germany. Personally, I didn't experience anything face-to-face personal racism when I was there, and I have not experienced anything here yet. That's my personal experience. It doesn't mean other people don't experience it. I haven't experienced it, so I can't say I have experienced it. However, but one thing I've realized is the population here in the eastern part of Germany are on the average older than the population in the west, because the younger ones are always going there, and they have a lot of older population here in the eastern Germany, and these people are more reserved, and that's their nature, that's their culture. But concerning racism, I haven't experienced any form of racism ever since I moved to Kemenet, and it has been 2 years now. So that is my take on that. My second point is going to be about the black community, the African community. And with this one, I would say that you're moving outside your home country. You're moving from Accra to Germany, Ghana to Germany. And if you really want to be in the black community, I think the best place you should be is to be in your country, because once you move outside the continent, you are not going to be, unless maybe you're moving to Bronx or whatever, you're coming to Hamburg, then of course there's a larger black population or African community over there. In Kemenet, the African community, I don't even think there is one here. Every African I know, every black person I know is a student. We don't have the black community here as compared to Munich or Hamburg or Bremen, where they have big community, they host programs day in, day out. And if you're moving to the eastern part of Germany hoping to have an Afro concert in your town, your city, that wouldn't happen, because there's not where the African community is concentrated. These concerts are held in Munich, Hamburg, and this big city in Berlin. Even though Berlin is in the eastern part of Germany, I think it's because of the capital, so that one is an exception. Apart from that, with the other towns or the cities in the eastern part of Germany, you wouldn't find a huge or a bigger African community in those cities. Then the next point is Afro shop. Of course, if the black community in these cities aren't that big, you're not going to find Afro shop on every street. In Kemenet, we have to travel for like a little bit, I think 45 minutes to Dresden to find an Afro shop. Now there is one here, so yes, you get Afro shop or you get local food to eat, but once again, it wouldn't be like being in the big cities where they are known to have Afro shops on almost every street. If you go to Hamburg, I learned almost every street you'll find an African shop, jollof rice restaurant, Tuesday restaurant. But here, you don't come across those things often. Immigration, as in things to do with immigration, Ausländer Behörde, documentation and stuff. From my personal experience, I think it's way better to be in a small city or in a city where there are not a lot of immigrants compared to being in the big cities, because I know people who move from their home country and they have to be on the waiting list to even get their resident permit because there are a lot of people in the queue, and sometimes their visa will have to expire. They give them fintion or temporary visas because they've not gotten an appointment in the big cities. But in the small cities or not popular cities, there are not a lot of immigrants there. So when it comes to Ausländer beholder or extension of your visa and working with the immigration office, things go a little bit faster, but they tend to also be very strict with the rules because they are not used to, going around things. Of course, things move faster, but things can be also strict. Like opening of second block account and certain things are very common when you're in a small city. Cost of living. So with the cost of living, of course, cost of living in the eastern part of Germany is very low. As in, my apartment is very big, but I'm paying something small. When I was in the western part, I had a small apartment, but my bills were like this. And this has to do with the city. Once there are a lot of people in that city, and then supply and demand, there's a lot of demand for the thing, so the cost goes out. So for me personally, moving to the eastern part of Germany for your education would be somehow good for you when it comes to saving and managing your block account, because you're a student. What else can you be doing? If you're in a big city and I'm paying like 500 for an apartment, and I'm in a smaller city and I'm paying like 200 for a bigger and a comfortable apartment, at the end of the day, it's school you are going in for. At the end of the day, we are all students, but I will end up saving a lot of money and you will end up consuming much of your block account. And when it comes to reopening of block account, you might find yourself wanting. So for me, when it comes to studying in the eastern part of Germany, I think the cost of living is way beneficial compared to studying in the bigger cities or in the western part of Germany. Accommodation. I did a video concerning problem that international students face here in Germany, and I think one of the points I spoke about was accommodation. Finding a place to stay in Germany can be a headache for students. When you have admission in big cities like in Frankfurt, in Haken, in Hamburg, in Munich, you find yourself wanting when it comes to accommodation. That isn't the same when it comes to schooling in the eastern part or the less popular cities in Germany. Accommodation is readily available, especially for students, and when you compare the two, this one is like a plus for students who are living or who are schooling in the eastern part of Germany. Career opportunities. Like I said, there's already a history between the eastern part and the western part of Germany, and most of the big companies or the industrial companies find themselves to be in the western part of Germany. So definitely for career opportunities, there are a lot of career opportunities in the western part as compared to the eastern part. But if you are talking about student jobs, then there are student jobs everywhere. Comparing the two, we have student jobs here as well, because student jobs, you don't have to have a student job. You don't need a degree to do work and restaurants, and these things that students do are already available here as well. But if you're talking about career opportunities after school, then in the western part of Germany, there are higher chance to be employed than being in the eastern part of Germany. I didn't do the history. This thing has been there since, so it has nothing to do with this. This is not my personal experience. This is just facts. There are a lot of industries and employment opportunities in the west as compared to in the east. I think the most important thing students want to know, especially students from Ghana, Nigeria, is concerning racism and the black community. So from my personal experience, I've not experienced any racism in Germany, regardless eastern or western parts. And for the black community, like I said, there are bigger black communities in the western part of Germany as compared to the eastern part of Germany. But ask yourself, are you moving to Germany to make friends or be in your own tribe? Then you should be in your country. I always say that the location for your study doesn't really matter, because in Germany, almost every place is like the same everywhere. If you're in Munich and I'm in a village, we all have the same stuff. I don't know. It's not like moving from Accra and going to Paga, where you find like now you realize you are not in a city. In Germany, it's like you have the basic needs and you wouldn't even know that you're in a big city even if you're in a small city. So I think these are my experience, and I don't know how this will influence when it comes to your decision, but I always say that the location or the destination for your studies is not really an important factor when you're coming to Germany to continue your studies. I hope you find this video somehow educative and informative. If you did, don't forget to share, like, and subscribe to my channel. Like always, the name is Promzy, and I'm signing out. Peace.